Okay. First, write a program that prints the number from 1 to 50. Okay. So if I have to write kind of a, how can we print a number from 1 to 50? Okay, using range function. But for multiples of 3, print fig instead of number, and for the multiples of 5, print buzz and this one, right? Okay, fine. So let's see. If I have to print a number from 1 to 50 using while loop, what should I do? While
less than or equal to 50.
number is less than equals to 50, right? Print number. Okay. Now I have to define, or you can say, this will, how we can print the number. There should be a number we have to initialize.
Equal to 1. Number
Right,
equal to 1.
right. Number is equals to 1. All right. And thereafter we have to do what?
We have to print a number. Or we have to number equal
Increment.
plus 1, sir. Plus 1
Plus
करेंगे.
equals to 1, right? Okay, so this will increment the number after each turn. So this is a basic structure. It will print the number. Right. So first part is done. Okay. Now let's see the second part. But for multiples of 3, print fits. How can we find the multiples of 3? We can.
Sir, we're taking the if and else condition as well.
Right. Okay. So if you take the modulus 3, okay, so whenever modulus 3 will give you 0, okay, so that is a multiple of 3, right? Like this is a multiple of 3, this is a multiple of 3, this is a multiple of 3, okay. So whenever there is a multiple of 3, you will get 0, right? So, but for multiple of 3, print fig. Okay, so we have to say what? If this is equals to 0, print fig. Okay. And for multiples of 5, print buzz. Okay. So how can you find the multiple of 5? Alif number modulus 5 double equals to 0. So print buzz. Okay. So let's see. Okay. But there are so many numbers which are not the multiple of 5, not the multiple of 3. Okay. So for those things which are for the numbers that are multiple of both, okay, 3 and 5, we have to use Fishbuzz. Okay. If the multiples of both, okay. So how can you put the multiples of both? Alif, both the conditions I have to compare. What you said?
And operator का उपयोग करेंगे.
Right. We have to use OR operator. Okay. So both the multiples I have to check. So double equals to 0 and this
be
equals
or and.
सर यहाँ पे and
And right.
And होगा sir.
right for numbers that are multiples of both. Yeah, right. Multiples of
Sir,
both.
both
should
इसके
be
लिए ना सही है sir. And लगेगा.
correct. Thank you. So print phase buzz. Thank you. Okay. Now else, just print the number. Okay. So for number multiple by 3, it is fizz. When 5, it is buzz, and whenever it is both, it is fizz buzz. So we don't get any fizz buzz, huh?
No, sir, because we have put the condition, we need to
Sir,
put the
15 is a
condition
number
first.
which have divided by 3 and 5 also.
So it should give me the things, right?
Sir, we need to put that condition initially. Like if we need to put number modulus 3 equal to 0 and number 5 equal to.
Right. Why is it so? Okay? This is a very interesting thing, right? So if you understood it, it's good. Okay. If not, let me just explain to you. So what are we doing? See, why are we not getting fuse buzz? Okay. So let's try to understand this whole pattern. Okay. So what exactly happens over here in if condition? Whenever the first if condition matches, right? Whenever the first if condition matches, it will not check any other condition. Okay, it will not check any other condition because it is elif. Elif will be checked if this condition doesn't match, right? So if this condition doesn't match, then it will check this condition, right? So for a number which is multiple of 3, and for a number which is like, if there is a number multiple of 3, it will print fizz. If it is a multiple of 5, it will print buzz, right? So it will never come to this particular condition. It will never come to this because it will, if it is multiple of 3, it will print fizz. If it is a multiple of 5, it will print buzz. And if it is multiple, if it is not multiple of both, then obviously this condition is also not true. Not multiple of both, that is that these two conditions are false. So obviously this will be also false. So it will execute this guy, right? So that's why we have to do what? We should check this thing, this condition at very first. Okay, here should be checked over here, right? And other two we can check over here, right? So first it will check, is it multiple of both? Okay, so if it is multiple of both, print fizz buzz. If it is not multiple of both, so is it multiple of 5 only? Print buzz. If is it multiple of 3 only? Print fizz. All right. Okay, that's why kind of where are you putting the condition, that is also important. If you are putting it at the end, right? So this condition will never be checked, because before checking this condition, out of these two conditions, any one will be true. And any one will be true, obviously this will never be checked. All right. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what is next question? Password generator. Okay, let's see what it is saying. We'll just follow the instruction. Create a password generator using while loop. All good. Allow the user to input to input desired length of password and generate a random password containing both letters and number. Okay. So here we have to do what? We have to take a input from the user, that what length of password you want, right? Okay. So how can I do it? First of all, I have to take the user password length. This is equals to what? Obviously, length should be number. So input, enter, desired length of the password. Okay. Now I want to generate a random password. Okay. A password that should contain both what? Letters and numbers. Okay. Letters and numbers, right? So what can we do? We can write over here. See, if I have to generate a random number, we can use random.random, right? So import random. Okay, using this we can generate a random number. Okay, but we also required letters. Okay, so for the letters, because random can only generate random numbers. For the letters, we required what? A module called string. Okay. Now, what is a string actually? See, if you will use over here, kind of a string dot ASCII letters. So let's see. Okay. So what it is giving you? It is giving you all the characters that are present in English alphabet. Okay. So this is a character. And with this thing, we also required what? The numbers, right? So string dot digits. So this will give you what? All the digits added to it. Like this. All right. Now we have to randomly make a choice. Okay, we just randomly choose some characters and digits. Okay, we have to randomly choose some letters and digit from here, isn't it? So it can be, let's see, characters. Okay, so how can we choose randomly some digits and characters over here? Okay, we can do what? Random dot choice. Okay, characters. Comma, suppose I want a length of password length, right? Or let me do it separately to make you understand. Okay, let it be over here. Just to understand the process, I will complete the program later on. So let's say I want to randomly chosen 6 characters from there. So it's not working. It is saying what? This will be the function, but how it will be used, let me tell you. Random choice takes 2 positional argument, but 3 were given. All right. So what to do now? We will use over here random dot choice. Okay. Now I'll use random dot choice once again. Let's see, I am putting over here 0, 1, 3, 2, 6, 4. Okay, some random number. And then I'll give over here, suppose 5. Then what happened? Just a minute. 5 cross 1. Oh no, this random dot choice is doing something not good. Okay.
So we need to give 3 there.
Wait.
instead-
Wait. We should run a loop over here. For characters in characters, CHARACTERS, characters. Okay. Print char. So here we are just printing the character one by one. All right. Now we can do what? Just a minute. Let me check the random dot choice function. Because random dot choice function will be used. I am passing something wrong over here. No worry, we'll check it. Random dot choice. Okay, this is a library, so there may be a a random number, random dot choice. We can check there. Okay, we can check official documentation. Okay. See random dot choice. Return a random element from non-empty sequence. Okay. Random dot choice, we have to pass population. All right, population will be the characters. Okay. Then thereafter weights, then cumulative weights, k is equal to weight. Okay. Right, travel tools. This is what equivalent, this one. Okay. Fine. Okay, let's try this way. For I in range. Okay, let's say I'm giving over here 5. Okay, now we'll do what? We'll write over here, okay, print. Okay, that means 5 times I have to run it. And for 5 times I have to do what? I have to run random dot choice, okay, characters. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so every time I run, what will happen from these existing characters? Okay, let's try to understand. CHARACTERS, characters. From these existing characters, it will just choose some random characters. Every time this will be different. Okay, every time you execute, this will be different. Okay, here you can control the length of it, like 9, 10, whatever you want, you can control the length of it. Okay, 9 randomly chosen characters. Right. So we can now randomly choose the characters over here. Right. Only thing we have to do what? We have to combine them into a single, into a single word. Okay, we have to
Line.
combine them into a single word, right? Yeah, tell me. Okay, so randomly chosen characters we are having, we have to just combine them into a single word, isn't it? So how can we combine them into single words? Okay, so to combine them into single words, let's see. Suppose I have over here a particular list. Okay, let's say CHR list. Okay, this is equals to, let's see, A, B, C. Okay, character, this is a list, right? If I'll run over here dot join CHR list. Okay, so what will happen? It is joined into a single character ABC, right? See, we have a list, okay, and when we use this blank space dot join, it did this thing. So what it join is doing, what it is joining. But what it means? It means for the joining, what are we using? So we are using underscore, so it is joined with underscore. If I use over here, suppose exclamatory mark, it will be joined with exclamatory mark. Okay, if I use nothing, so it will join nothing. It means what? It means somehow if I can convert these guys into a list, thereafter I can easily join them, isn't it? So how can I convert them into a list? We can just convert them over here like random characters is equals to a blank list, right? We have defined a blank list over here, that is a blank box, right? Since it is randomly generating some characters or choosing some characters from here, okay, it is choosing some characters from here, okay, which is having a collection of all the digits and letters. Okay, it is running for 9 times and each time it is choosing one character, right? So we can do what? We can put this thing into that list, random characters dot append this thing. So now I have a random characters over here, random character. Okay, so every time I execute, there will be a different random character, isn't it? Now we just have to join them. So how can I join? Dot join random character. So this list item will be joined into a single like this. All right. So we had seen how can we build a logic which can select some random words, characters to create a password kind of thing. Right. Same thing we have to do. Okay. So for doing the same thing, what can we do? We can create a function, isn't it? Okay, so let's create a function df generate password. Okay, so for generation of password, what we require? We require the password length, that is 9, 10, whatever. So here I can pass password underscore length. This is what? This is a parameter. Okay, I should know the password length, then only I can generate something. Without password length, I can't generate. So first I create a combination of all the characters. For creation of all the characters, we required which module? String module. All right, let's import this string module. Looking good. Next, I have to run a loop that can create a list of randomly chosen character. So this is a loop. Okay, doing what? Create a list of randomly chosen character. And once randomly chosen character is done, thereafter you have to do this thing. That's it. Okay, but to randomly chosen character, we have to use random, right? So I also have to import over here random. That's it. So now I have a function created over here. This function can do what? This function can easily generate a like this. Okay, so now I can create a loop over here while true. Okay, thereafter password length is equals to int input enter desired password length or enter 0 to exit. Okay, so we can do what? If password length is equals to 0, then break the loop. Else do what? Else just trigger this particular function. This function will do the job. Right? Whatever the password length you are picking up, it will do the job, right? So this is not required now. Okay. So let's execute it. It will ask password length. If I will print enter 0, it will do nothing. Okay. If I will enter and I just make 10, it generated a random password. Okay, 7, it generated a random password. I enter 0, it will exit. All right. This can be done using some other logic as well. Okay, you must did this thing, like a few of you, right? So that if you did it through other logic, it's totally fine, right? But here, this is a logic that you can use. Okay. Again, let me explain what we did. It is a program to generate a password which can choose random characters from A, B, C, D to all the digits. Anything we can, like I want this thing to pick any random characters and random digits to create a password. So what we did, we first create a sequence of all the characters and digits over here. Okay. Then we are running a loop. This loop is doing what? This loop is basically dedicated to run for few number of times. 9 times, 10 times, 7 times, as many times as you want. Okay. So for that many times, do what? Choose some random characters from the collection. So every time it will choose a random character from the collection and then store that value over here. So when all the values will get stored, we will come out of the loop and then join them. So when we join them, we will get this kind of password. Okay, I have to do this thing using while loop. So we can do what? We can put all these things into a function, right? So here is a function for that. This function will do what? First, create a combination of all characters and digits. Thereafter, it will choose randomly some characters from that collection. Okay, how many times? 9 times. But we don't want it to be 9 times. We want to be because every time it is 9, you can see. I entered 10, then also it is 9. I entered 7, then also it is 9. Right? But I want it to be equals to the length of password, whatever length that user entered. So for I in range, length. Okay. So it will run for the length that user entered. Okay. Every time it will choose some random characters and store it over here, and then it will join them. Right. So let's execute it again. So I entered over here, suppose password length as 7. 7. This 7 will go over here, and when it will go over here, this function will make use of it. How it will use? It will trigger this loop for 7 times. That means this loop will run for how many times? 7 times. And every time it will choose one character from this collection and store it over here, and then join them and then print it. Right. So let's see. I entered over 15. I enter 0, it will exit. Okay. Let me know if you have any doubts over here.
Sir, please explain the function of random.choice.
The random.choice. Okay. Random.choice basically used to, randomly choose kind of some info, like, like if I will just use over here, let's say I have a this one. This is a list, right? Now I will do what? Random dot choice. CHR underscore list. Okay. So it will just randomly choose anything from here. Like 1, 6, 7, 10, 5, 4. We don't know what it will pick, but every time it will pick something randomly from here. Okay, like see, it picked this time. Next time it may pick something else. This time it picks 6. Okay, this time it will pick something again 6. This time it will pick A, right? So every time it will pick what? Something different. Okay.
ओके सर. एंड सर आपने जो कैरेक्टर्स इक्वल टू स्ट्रिंग डॉट एस्काइलेटर्स प्लस स्ट्रिंग डॉट डिजिट्स किए हैं ना, तो मतलब इसका मतलब ये ऐसा नहीं है कि फर्स्ट कैरेक्टर्स ही होगा उसके बाद डिजिट्स आएगा, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. वो रैंडमली जो कुछ भी हो सकता है, कॉम्बिनेशन हो.
नहीं. It's like how you're passing this thing, right? जैसे for example, you have passed over here like this, right? अगर आप इसको ऐसे करोगे, जैसे for example, अगर मैंने digits को पहले रखा, right? Suppose I just put the digits first, okay? And then I am putting the characters. So first it will, arrange the digits. Okay, then it will arrange all the characters.
अच्छा अच्छा, हाँ हाँ, मैं समझ गई सर. एक्चुअली क्या है ना कि वो आपका जो आउटपुट आया है उसमें 9 बीच में आ गया, तो मुझे लगा रही वो तो रैंडम के वजह से है. हाँ ठीक है.
कहाँ पे आ गया आउटपुट?
आउटपुट जो आप रन किए है ना 9
हाँ
बीच में आ गया।
ये तो रैंडमली होगा ना।
हाँ 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 हाँ, ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है, वो रैंडम के वजह से आया।
like just for example इसको when we execute this thing, right, so it's like every time it is selecting randomly anything from the collection. Okay, so when you are running this particular what is it function, right, so this function is doing what, this function is running for how many times you entered over here, 15. So this function will run for 15 times. So every time it will choose some random character. So that character can be anything. It can be any digit, can be anything, right? Every time it will choose some random character and store it over here. So this
हाँ
is,
सर।
yeah, so this is basically done in 3 steps. Okay, let me just write the steps. Okay, first define the collection of characters and digits. Step 2, okay, randomly choose some some entity from the collection. Okay, and thereafter third step is what, and store into a list. Okay, and third step is what, join all the entities stored into a single word to form a single word, right? Okay, so these are 3 steps. Step 1, this one. Step 2, store randomly generated values over here.
हेलो हेलो
मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है। हेलो
Okay, just allow me for 1 minute. Okay, just 1 minute. Alright, sorry, I just got urgent call. Yeah, please tell me.
मेरा क्वेश्चन था कि
Mm-hmm.
उस समय जब हम लोग को एरर आ रहा था रैंडम वॉइस में,
Mm-hmm.
तो उसमें हम लोग 2 ठो आर्गुमेंट दे रहे थे, तो उसमें बोल रहा था कि 2 रिक्वायर्ड बट 3 वर्ड गिवन।
Mm-hmm.
लेकिन अभी हम लोग एक ही दे रहे हैं, तो ये
यहाँ पे
एरर नहीं दे
एक
रहा।
बार में एक ही बेसिकली वैल्यूज हम यहाँ पे चूज कर रहे हैं, राइट?
कहाँ पे सर?
सी रैंडम डॉट चॉइस क्या कर रहा है यहाँ पे, इट इज जस्ट सेलेक्टिंग वन वैल्यू एट अ टाइम। ठीक है, उस समय मैं क्या कर रहा था एक्चुअली, आई वाज ट्राइंग टू क्रिएट एरे डायरेक्टली। ओके, अच्छा मैं आपको इस तरह से समझा देता हूँ। सी यहाँ पे क्या कर रहा था एक्चुअली मैं लास्ट टाइम, सी आई वाज ट्राइंग टू अवॉइड दिस लूप, राइट? अभी लाइक व्हाट आई वाज डूइंग, लाइक आई एम जस्ट सेलेक्टिंग ईच वैल्यू वन बाय वन, राइट?
राइट
एक बार में एक ही वैल्यू सेलेक्ट हो रहा है, राइट? एंड देन इट इज मेकिंग अ लिस्ट ऑफ इट, राइट?
यस
सो आई वाज
यस
ट्राइंग टू अवॉइड दिस लूप, ठीक है? मैं देख रहा था कि ये फंक्शन लाइक इज इट पॉसिबल टू काइंड ऑफ अवॉइड द लूप और नॉट, इट वाज नॉट वर्किंग लाइक दैट, राइट? क्योंकि जैसे क्या होता है रैंडम फंक्शन के अंदर, मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, सी रैंडम डॉट रैंडम integer, right? It will just choose a random integer between 0 to 100, right?
राइट राइट
Okay. Now if I will use over here, see, यहाँ पे for example मैं यहाँ पे पास करता हूँ suppose 5 cross 1, okay? So ये error generate कर रहा है, right? Okay, so basically here I'm trying to generate a 5 values at the same time, but this random thing is not working with it, right?
Right.
But there is a function that, or sorry, there is a module that we will learn just after finishing this particular basic Python. Okay, when our basic Python will be finished, there is a module that we learn which is called NumPy module, right? NumPy module, by using the NumPy module you can do it. Okay, I'll show you, like np.random dot np.random integer, right? And here I'll password 0 comma 100, and suppose I want 5 random values, so I will use 5 cross 1. At the same time it generated 5 random values, right?
Right.
Okay, same way if I will use over here, let's say np.random.choice, right? Now I'll pass over here certain values like 0, 1, A, B, okay, 5, 7, right? Now I want, 3 things to be randomly selected. Okay, like here, how many characters are there?
5 6
6 characters are there, right? I want to choose 3 characters randomly, so I can pass over here 3. So you can see it just randomly created 3 characters. Same here also, if 5 not required 5,000, you can also pass 5, right? Just if you pass 5, then it will give you one dimensional data. 5 cross 1, 2 dimensional. So this one dimensional, 2 dimensional, we are going to discuss in the next part of the Python, right? So basically this is what random.choice, but it is giving you 3 randomly chosen character directly. Like you don't have to run a loop, right? Like suppose यहाँ पे मैं और भी चीजें ऐड कर देता हूँ कि okay, 0, right? So it can easily choose some randomly character, right? So basically I was trying to check like if the same thing can work with the random module, because NumPy module is different module. Here we are using which module? Random module, right? So same thing I was trying to check like in the random module this thing works or not. So this was not working in the random module, right? So that's why we have used the loop. All right.
सर
Can you explain joining the random characters?
तो मेरा प्रॉब्लम हमको समझ नहीं आया, मतलब
ठीक है,
मेरा
ठीक है,
क्वेश्चन था ना
मैं
कि
फिर
ये
से
कैरेक्टर
एक्सप्लेन करता हूँ। मैं समझ गया,
तो
मैं समझ गया।
कैरेक्टर
आपका क्वेश्चन ये है कि यहाँ पे हमने जब रैंडम डॉट चॉइस यूज किया था लास्ट टाइम, ठीक है?
हाँ,
जैसे यहाँ पे 1 मिनट में
इसको 2 आर्ग्यूमेंट्स चाहिए, इस फंक्शन को रैंडम डॉट चॉइस को 2 आर्ग्यूमेंट चाहिए, लेकिन हम लोग तो एक ही दे रहे हैं ना यहाँ पे कैरेक्टर्स।
1 मिनट, हाँ हाँ मैं समझ गया, ठीक है। यहाँ पे रैंडम डॉट चॉइस, ठीक है। अब यहाँ पे आप कह रहे हो कि यहाँ पे हम सिर्फ एक ही आर्गुमेंट दे रहे हैं, राइट?
हाँ हाँ हाँ
ठीक है। ये ऐसा इसलिए कर रहे हैं क्योंकि एक आर्गुमेंट ऑलरेडी प्री डिफाइंड है। बेसिकली इसमें क्या है कि व्हेन यू आर यूजिंग दिस थिंग व्हाट रैंडम एक मॉड्यूल है, ठीक है?
राइट
उस मॉड्यूल जैसे आप समझ जाओ कि एक व्हाट इज मॉड्यूल एक्चुअली? मॉड्यूल इज अ काइंड ऑफ अ प्री प्रोग्राम
कलेक्शन ऑफ
फाइल,
फंक्शंस।
ठीक है? प्री प्रोग्राम
हाँ
पहले से मतलब प्रोग्राम कर दिया गया, ठीक है?
राइट
सो उसके अंदर दिस इज अ क्लास, राइट। अभी क्लास
Right.
आपको नहीं पता है क्योंकि क्लास अभी तक क्लास में कवर, मतलब क्लास एक पाइथन का टॉपिक है जो
Yes.
कि कवर नहीं हुआ है, राइट। सो जब क्लास होता है, क्लास के अंदर क्या होता है, एक आपका आर्गुमेंट प्री डिफाइंड रहता है, राइट, उसे हम सेल्फ कहते हैं, राइट। सो दैट इज
Oh,
बेसिकली ऑलरेडी डिफाइंड, दैट्स व्हाई इट इज नॉट यूज्ड ओवर हियर।
okay, thank you.
इट्स लाइक आपको मैं शो करता हूँ कैसे आप एग्जांपल, बेसिकली दैट इज ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्रामिंग, राइट। सो like for example, let's say I'll pass over your 6, right? So what are you getting error? Let's see. So random dot choice 2 positional argument, but 3 were given, right? So basically when we pass 2 over here, okay, it is counting it 3. Why it is counting
The
3?
self is already
Yeah,
taken.
self is already predefined, okay? So that's why it is counting it 3,
Got it.
right? But you can understand that part only if you can understand, like once the class will be covered up, okay? तो क्लास के लिए क्या करते हैं, एक मैं आपको छोटा सा एग्जांपल लेता हूँ क्योंकि दिस इज समथिंग आई डोंट वांट यू शुड बी इन डाउट लाइक दिस, राइट। सो आई जस्ट गिव यू अ स्मॉल एग्जांपल, ओके। इसको मैं इस सेक्शन को अलग कर देता हूँ, ओके। सॉरी, आई जस्ट यूज सी सी in Python there is a topic object oriented programming, okay. Now question is when you will go through the object oriented programming, that is a part of advanced Python, okay. So now question is when you will go through the advanced Python thing, okay, or advanced Python course, right. So see, right now we are going through the basic Python. After basic Python we will go through the modules like this, NumPy, Pandas, these kind of modules we will study, okay. That will be kind of an intermediate level of Python, okay. Thereafter the third stage is what is advanced Python, okay. Now his question is when this is a very good question, right? So this particular advanced Python already covered up later, but since you asked the question, so you should be answering, and you should not, because if this doubt will be there in your mind, it will be very difficult to understand other things, okay. So let's clear these doubts here only, right? So see, when I am using this thing, I passed over here what, 6, okay. So it generates an error. This is very good thing that you are noticing all these things, okay. This is very good. I really appreciate it that you are looking for these kind of things, okay, and you raise this question. So here it is showing what it takes 2 positional argument, but 3 is given. So but the point is it is just 2. Why it is counting 3? So it is counting 3 because it is created as a class. This particular thing is created as a method of a class. Now what is it? Let me explain. See, this particular thing we'll study later on, but I'll just give you a very simple understanding of it, right? So let's say I'll create over a class, let's say demo, right? Now within this thing I'll define what def. Def is used for what? Can anyone tell me?
Function.
It is
मतलब
function,
create
sir.
करने के लिए.
Function,
Defined
right.
for function.
Define a
Function,
function.
correct. When it is defined within a class, right, it is called method. Okay, काम वही करता है, do the same thing, but name is called, but it's called method, right? It is defined within a class, it is called method, right? Now question is why people create class in Python? People create class in Python just for more structured coding. Okay, class will do nothing very kind of extraordinary thing, okay. Whatever that you can do without class, okay, that means whatever that you can do with class you can do without class as well. ऐसा नहीं कि class के साथ आप कुछ अलग, it just gives you the option to create a more structured coding, okay. That is the purpose of whole thing, right? Now let's create a method over here, and here I'll write over here so name, all right. And here I'll print what, let's say here I feed the name, okay, and the same name I want to print it, okay. Now let's do this thing first without class and then we will use class, right? So now if I will trigger this thing, so underscore name, right, and here I'll password suppose Bipul Kumar, all right. So it is doing its job. Now let's do one thing. Let's put this thing as a method within a class, right? So I'll do what, class demo. Now just see the change, okay? or just to show the change, what I'll do, let me write it separately, okay? Separate program I should do, so that you should understand the difference, right? Okay. Now just put this thing within a class demo. Okay. And let's say so my underscore name, right? Now if I will trigger over here so my underscore name, will it work? It will not work. Okay, here it was simple function, so it worked, but now this function is defined within a class, so it will not work. So what can we do? We have to create the object of this class like this. D is equals to demo. First, we have to create the object of this class. So will it work now? Let's see. Still, it is not working. Right. So we have to do what? We have to use D dot. D is what? Object of the class. And within that class, we have this method. Now will it work? Let's see. Okay. Now if you see, you can see, are you getting the similar kind of error?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It is showing takes one positional argument, but two were given. I am giving just one, but it is counting it two. Right?
Yeah.
Now why it is counting it two? Because whenever it is defined, I have to use over here one argument as self. Right? Now it is what? It will work. Okay. So for this self, actually, we don't pass anything. Okay. For this self, we don't pass anything. We are passing the value only for this name. Right.
Yeah.
But the question is why we had used self over here. Okay. So this is what we will study when we will learn the class thing. Okay. This self is having so many use case. Okay. Because you know what I told you, class is used for more structured programming. So in the class, what we do, we define multiple methods. Like it is one method, we define two methods, three methods, four methods, right? We define multiple methods, multiple variable. We just mean that means we just create a proper structured coding like this. Okay. So now the connections between, okay, the connections between multiple method, okay, like suppose all the methods are interlinked with each other, right? So the interlinking with each other or the connection with each other will be controlled by this particular parameter, which is called self. So don't worry about this thing as of now, because this self thing we will discuss in detail when we will discuss the class part. As of now, as since you asked the question that why it is working, so same thing happened over here.
Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you, sir. Thank you for explaining.
Right. So same thing, this particular random the choice, okay, the choice is what? You can see what it is, D dot show my name. So show my name is what? Is a method. That means this choice is also a method which is already defined within the class random. Okay, understood? Okay, fine. And this
Yes,
NumPy thing
yes.
also we'll see. So NumPy is the next part, so that we will do later on. As of now, this is this whole thing, okay, from here to here, okay, whatever that we discussed from this point to this point, it is just for answering you. It is not the part that we are covering right now, okay, because we'll discuss this thing in very much detail in the next upcoming sessions. Okay, I have just given a brief to you. Okay, next question you asked me about the joining, right? Someone asked me
Yes,
about
sir.
the join, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so see, join is a very important function of Python. Okay, so you know when you are trying to understand join, okay, you should understand two things over here. I'll tell you two things over here. One is called join, okay, and there is something called what? Split. Okay, these two functions are important for string operations. Where it will be used? Python string operations. Okay. So how it works? Let's say I have a string over here, text is equals to hello world. Okay. A, B, C, D, E. Okay, something I wrote, right? Now let's try to use a split function. So text dot split. Okay. Text dot split. Okay. Now I'll use what, a space over here. Okay, or let's say without a space. Okay, print. So it is doing what? Empty separator. Okay, it is asking you have to pass a separator to split these guys. So let's say separator, I pass a space over here. So based upon the space, it is splitted into multiple words and creates a list of words. Okay, and thereafter, let's say I'll pass over here comma. Okay, so now I have a list of words. This is before comma, this is after comma. Okay, when I used comma, you can see I have two things, first and second. When I use a space, I have three things, first, second, and third. Right? When I use dot, I have what? This is hello world before dot and after dot. So using the separator, we can split a combination, we can split a sentence. Okay, and join is what? Join is just the opposite of it. Okay, opposite of means what? Let's say I have a text list. Okay. Having some text over here. Hello, space world, space A, B, C, D, E. Right. Now I have to join them. So for joining, you have to define the separator first. Dot join. So when you define the separator first and then you are joining this list. Okay, print. So it will join them into a single word. Okay. So now according to the separator, it will join it. Like suppose I am using comma to join it. So it will put a comma between. I can use suppose underscore to join it. So it will put underscore between. All right.
Sir.
Okay. So same thing we are doing over here. It's like, see, that's why I have written the steps. First, define the collection of characters and digits. So how do we define the collection of characters and digits? This is how we have defined the collection of characters and digits. Second, randomly choose some entities from the collection. So here we are choosing what? Randomly choosing some characters. So every time it will run, it will choose one character, just one character. Okay. So when it is choosing just one character, we have defined a loop that you have to run for 5 times, 7 times, 10 times, 12 times, how many times? Okay. And then each time after choosing the character, store the information in a list. Suppose you run this loop for 7 times. So 7 times, 7 different characters will be chosen and stored over here. And then once it is stored, loop will finish its job. This job is done. This is done. Thereafter, through joining, we are joining all the characters. Right? So this is a function. You know, function will do a job when it will be triggered. So we are going to trigger it in the while loop. In the while loop, first we are asking that what should be the length you are looking for. And according to the length, we are generating the password. Am I clear?
Sir.
I'll share the link. All right. Fine. Let's try to do the next thing, for loop. How many of you did it?
Sir, I did it.
Okay, can you share the code? Please share the code in the chat.
That for loop question,
Sir, which
right?
question is?
The third question, it's this one. Write a program to calculate the sum of squares from number 1 to 10 using for loop. For I in range.
Sir, sum नहीं हो पा रहा था इन सबका.
Okay. No worry. 1 to 10. Print I. Yeah, nice. Aditya and yeah, Soumya is also correct. Nice. Okay, correct. So we have a numbers. We can easily calculate the square of it, right? And once we have the square of it, what can we do? You did it right. This is a square of it. SQ is equals to this thing, right? We can define what? We can define a variable sum that is initially 0, right? And thereafter we can do what? We can just add sum is equals to sum plus SQ. So every time loop will run, a square value will be calculated and that will be added to the sum.
Sir, we can add the I into I in place of I की power 2.
That also I can do. Yeah, it's fine. This is also correct. The same thing, like there are multiple ways of doing it. Okay. So this is done. Next question was factorial, right? Write a program to calculate the sum of a square. Oh, what happened? This is a function.
Sir, I
question,
done
right?
it.
You did it? Okay, fine. Can you just share this your code, please? Let me check. Okay. Okay, Soumya had shared the function. Nice. Anyone else? If you did, well and good. If not, then just try to do it now. Okay. So Soumya, Saurav had also shared it. Okay. So just before I explain, please try to understand what actually Soumya did or Saurav did, Aditya also did, right? So just try to understand the logic and then I'll explain. Nice. Okay. So Mohammed Wasi, you also did it, but you are not using function, right? So we have to create a function for it. You are correct. Okay.
Sir, सर इसको function में डाल देंगे, कर लेंगे sir,
बस
function से भी कर
हाँ,
सकते हैं.
right. Okay. So DEF calculate factorial. Right. So when you are taking the input, enter the number. N is equals to input, enter the number, right? So N is what? N is a user input. So here this will act as a argument for the function. Sorry, this is a parameter. For the argument is a value. Actually, when you feed a value, that is argument. This is a parameter. So this will be the parameter for the function, and the rest logic already you prepared, isn't it? So for example, let's see for I in range num print I. So let's try to understand what this function is doing. Okay, so it is showing what? A value 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, So it's like I have to just take a multiplication of it, but the multiplication should be what, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 5, right? So if I have to go up to 5 by entering 5, so I should do what, plus 1. So I'll go up to 5. Now I have to multiply all of them, right? So how can I do the multiplication? Here I can do what?
Sir, we take the I is equals to 0. Right?
Fact is equals to 1,
Yes. Yes, sir.
because if I multiply anything from 0, it will be 0, right? So now you can do what? Fact is equals to fact multiplied by current
I.
value of I. Okay, so first time the value of fact is 1. So 1 multiplied by 0, it will become 0. Right? So that's why I should take range from 1 to this one. Okay, so first time the value of, so now this will not be there. Okay, so first time the value of fact is 1. So 1 multiplied by 1, the value of fact will become what? 1. Okay, next time the value of I is 2. I is 2, fact is 1, so it is 1 multiplied by 2 will be equals to what, 2. Next time the value of fact is what, 2, because fact value changes to 2. So 2 multiplied by value of I is 3. So 2 into 3 it's 6. Next time the value of fact will be 6. So 6 multiplied by 4, it will be 24. Next time the value of fact is 24. So 24 multiplied by 5, it will be equals to whatever you calculate, right? So let's see. Print, come out of the loop and print. You can't print within the loop, right? Because then in that case it will print for multiple times. Is there anyone having any doubts over here? Please let me know. If you want me to explain this thing again, I'll explain it again. But please make sure that it is clear. I had given the whole file with you. Okay, just let me know if there is any doubts in any part of it.
Sir, I did this question a little differently. Can you check my code?
Where?
I've sent it to you on the chat.
Okay, where is it? Soumya, is it?
Sir, Isha.
Okay, Isa, okay. Isa, you had, okay, yeah, I can see it. Okay. This is what you said, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, nice. So this is also a good thing. Okay, what you did, you had worked, you are checking over here. If n is equal to 0, this one, and factorial n minus 1. Okay, fine. Yeah, this is also a way you can do it. Okay. What this called? Do you know what it is called?
No, sir, I don't know. It's calling the function again, right? But it's just
Right,
taking a
right.
different argument.
Right. This is just calling a function once again within itself. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is something different that I had not told yet. That's why I had not used this particular method, right? This is basically called, this concept is called recursion. Okay. The thing that you had used over here, this concept is called what? Recursion. Okay. Recursion is a concept in programming which is used in so many programming language actually, right? So what recursion do? Recursion basically, using like some programming language don't supports recursion, some programming language supports recursion. Like Python is one of the programming language which supports it. So here, what are you doing? You are just calling the same function within the function. Okay, like factorial is a function, you are calling the same function within the function, right? So yeah, this is a correct way of doing it. But since I have not explained recursion till now, this is next thing that will be covered in function, right? So that's why I not told you this way. So if in case someone don't understand what is recursion, don't worry at all. Okay, this is a topic which is not covered yet. Okay, but yeah, this is a correct way. I guess you must be getting the correct result, right?
Sir, I'm getting an error. I'm getting string object is not callable. I'm getting this for all of the other questions.
Okay, input a number, fine. Yeah, not defined for negative number. Yeah, it seems to be correct. Why are you getting this error? Let me check. Let's say
Yeah,
enter
sir, it's
6.
not working for me.
It's working. It's working. Why it is not
Okay.
working for you? Can you just
Can
cross
I
check?
share my
Mm-hmm.
can I share my screen?
Yeah, please, please.
Okay. Can you see, sir?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm getting this.
If num is smaller than 0, can you execute once again? Mm. Num is equals to integer input a number. Input enter a number. Can you just remove this int from here once? Remove this int, remove this bracket as well. Okay. Okay, now execute it.
सर जो वैल्यू आएगी वो ref फंक्शन के अंदर आएगी ना,
हम्म
यहाँ पे इंडेंटेशन का इफेक्ट नहीं होगा।
इंडेंटेशन तो ठीक है ना, इंडेंटेशन का क्या इशू है इसमें?
The same code is working in yours.
It should work. It is not. Just do
After
one- just
reload, can you try?
just cut everything from this num. Okay, num to the end. Select everything from num to the end. No, complete from num. Okay, Control X. Okay, execute it.
The Control X.
Yeah. Just execute this thing now.
Okay.
Okay, create a new cell just below it. Click on code, plus code here, right? Paste
Yeah.
it over here. Control V.
I did not
No.
copy that.
Control V. Just do Control X and then do Control V.
Which part should I paste this part or this part?
This part, the part that you just cut. Just click Control plus X. Just select and Control X. Remove it from here, right? Okay, execute the initial first.
Yeah, I'm still getting the same thing.
This should not be the error. Why are you getting this? Wait a minute.
एक बार फिर से उसको प्ले करो।
Cannot be the error over here. Do one thing, click on runtime once. Runtime at the top, runtime. View, edit, view, insert, runtime. Okay, wait. Restart and restart session. Click on restart session. Now click on run all, runtime. Okay, scroll up. Okay, this is done. Okay, here you are getting some error. Okay, what's that error? What is it?
So this was a different question. I was not able to get this part. But everything else should run, right?
No, you have to, you just got stuck over there. So that's why it is. So just run the next cell where you're getting there. Just after that cell, just run this thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
next cell. This remove this NUM from here. Just wait. Remove it. What is it? Mhm.
Okay, this is also fine.
So enter the number over there. Then just complete that.
So this question I'll complete later. Can I not execute the other cells?
Yeah. You can execute. Just execute it.
Okay.
Execute this thing. Okay, now it's working, right?
Okay.
Enter a
Alright.
number over there. Okay, so it is not working because you have to typecast it. Just typecast that. No, it's okay. Just typecast that input function as an integer.
Okay. I was just going to paste it in the same cell as
No,
above.
it's fine. Okay, fine.
Okay.
Actually, what happened? Like you did so many things, right? So you
Yeah.
were trying so many things. So in the previous cell when you had used variable num, okay, so in the backup the memory something must have been stored. Okay, like
Okay.
with the variable num, that's why it was giving us some
Okay.
problem.
When I was trying it here, that's why. Okay. So it stored it from the above cell, and that's why num here is causing an issue.
Right.
Okay.
So
sir.
that's why when we refresh everything and what we removed the like restarted the session, memory get cleaned and then it worked.
Okay. All right. So thank you.
A little bit. Okay. Okay. So now palindrome checker. Okay. So what is a palindrome checker actually? Okay. What is palindrome? Okay. Palindrome basically works like this. Like for example, there is a text. Okay. I'll pass race car. Okay. So if you read it from here, it will be race car, and if you're reading it from the end, then also it is a race car, isn't it? Right. So how can we, kind of identify if it is a palindrome or not, right?
Simple, we check that index के through, sir.
Right. Or see, this is a text. Okay, and we can do what? Print. First of all, how can we reverse this thing, right? So just reverse it. Text. See, I'll write over here 0:3. Just try to understand. So when I just try to understand the whole logic, I just try to explain the complete logic behind it, right? So this is a simple text. When I use 0:3, what it means? It means we have a string, we passed initial index, okay, colon, what? Number of initial index plus what? Number of characters. Okay, this is what we did, right? Now just suppose I'll pass over here, I want 5 characters, right? So I'll use what? 5. Okay. Now in case if I want to skip one character while selecting, like for example, let's say I want over here like this, I want to skip. Okay, that means first, then skip one, then skip one, then skip one, right? So what I can do? I can use over here the next thing called :1. Okay. So it is what? Same thing, no skipping if I use :2. You can see it is skipping one character. From R it jump to C, then from E it is skipping and then jump to C. Right. So it is what? A string. Then again the next colon is for what? You can see skipping values. Yeah, skipping info you can say, right? So it is skipping over here. That means we are just going 2 steps or skip a step. Okay, so just move a step ahead. Right. So this is what we did, right? Now let's see. I'll take the same text over here. Okay. And I'll pass over here index value. Suppose suppose some other text, right? So HELLOWORLD. Okay, let's see. Now if I pass over a 0:7, this is what I get. But if I pass over a 7:0, then what happened? It is giving me nothing. Okay. But if I use over here the parameter call that is used for the skipping as -1, then it can give me from 7 to the first character in a opposite way. Okay, now it knows that I have to take a reversal from here. All right, isn't it? Now it is taking a reversal from here. If I don't want to limit it, I don't want it to be started from 7. I want to start from the end. So I can give over here like this. So it will start from the end and goes to the beginning. Okay. So it starts from the end, DLROWOLLE. It is not giving me 0 because 0 is the first one. If I remove 0, then it will go to H as well. So this is how you can reverse any character or any text. That means if I have to reverse this text, what can I do? This is a text, print text. This is a normal text. I have to take the reversal of it. So I can do what? Print text ::::(-1).
Colon not added.
This comma
Need
is
to
not
give
required. Why I'm
comma.
giving comma?
Colon not added, sir.
This comma is not required. Okay.
Comma.
So this is what? Reversal. So as the reversal and the actual text is same, so this is what? A palindrome. Okay. So those who had created the function, well and good. Those who had not created, now just try to create it. Okay, because you know what is palindrome? You have to create a function that can take an input string, okay, and can check whether it is a palindrome or not a palindrome.
Sir, in that question, how can we ignore the spaces?
Ignore the spaces means these spaces.
No, in that question, it was mentioned like ignore spaces and consider case sensitivity.
So yeah, right. We'll do that. We'll do that. Okay. This is a second part of it. Okay. We'll tell you, but first just try to do the first part. Right, Soumya. Okay, so we can do a DF is palindrome. Okay. Here we required what? Input string. Okay. So I have to do what? Let's say true if it is palindrome, false otherwise, right? So if we do what? Input string Okay. Double equals to input string -1. Print it. Okay, so let's check it if it is working or not. Okay, I'll just pass a string over here. Let's say race car. It is true. Let's say if I feed over here something like Python. So Python is basically a false, right? Now if I pass over a race car, R is capital, then also it will become false, right? So we can do what? We can consider it in a lowercase. So before checking, just convert everything into lowercase. Then okay. Now the second part of it, ignore spaces, right? So for ignoring spaces, let's take example over here. Suppose this is something, right? I will just add, since it is working for any case like capital letter, small letter, that is not a big deal. Okay. Spaces is something. So let's create a palindrome with some spaces. Okay. A man, a plant, a canal. Okay. So this is what we have. So now if you see a man, a plant, PLAN, okay, a canal, CANAL, Panama, right? So it's the same thing, but if I will check it over here, it will consider it as a false. Okay. But if I will not consider this particular thing, the spaces, then it will be what? True. Okay. But with the spaces, it is identifying this thing as a false, right? So something we would do to remove, to ignore the space, right? So what can I do? Let's see. So this is what we have, a text. So if somehow I can remove the space, okay, before checking it, then it will be fine. So I can do a text dot split. Okay. So when I use a split, okay, what it is doing? Each particular word is splitted over here, right? I can convert this thing into lowercase as well. Once it is splitted, I can do what? I can join them again, right? So I can do what? I can just join them again. Okay, so for joining, dot join. I told you for joining. Okay, so if you see, it removed the spaces. So, before checking if we can do this particular step, then it can work. So can you just try to modify your code? I told you, how can you convert everything into lowercase and how can you remove the spaces? Okay, so just modify your code. Okay, yes, I did it. Anyone else? All right, many of you sort of also did it, right? Okay, nice. So you can do what you can create a function def is palindrome. Okay, here it will be a input underscore text. Right. Now you know what to do. You have to do this thing, right? Before checking, we have to modify your text. Okay. And then I can store it something in a variable like text. Okay. So now we can compare print text double equals to text minus 1. So it will be the reversal of it, right? Now let's check it out. All right. So even there is a text with a spaces, and if it is a palindrome, then also it will work. Please complete it. Thereafter, I'll tell you one important thing in the function, which is called return type function. Okay, because whatever assignment or questions I had given to you, if you check it out, there is something written returns. So there is a meaning of this returns, right? So I'll tell you what is return type function. First, complete it. Go through everything, whatever that we did till now, from the first line of the code till last line. Okay, I'll share this thing with you. Please go through it. Okay, and let me know if you have anything to ask. I'll wait for 2 minutes before moving ahead. All right, let's move ahead. Okay, so what is actually a return type function? Okay, see, whenever you create a function here, you can do two things. Either you can use print or you can use return. Both are having a different meaning, right? Let's see. DEF, okay, do sum. This is a simple function which I am creating, okay, to print the sum of x plus y. All right. Okay. Now what I will do, I'll trigger this function. Okay, with certain values like 7, 4. Working? Fine. Now I'll do two things over here. First, I'll directly try to multiply 2 into it, expecting 11 multiplied by 2, that is 22. It's not working. The value is what? 11, printing 11. So I want multiply this thing, the output of this thing to 2. It's not working. All right, not working. No worry. Comment it. Next thing what I'll do, I'll write over here result is equals to do sum. All right. Now I'll try to print result. So you can see when I try to multiply 2 into the output of this function, this gives a error. Okay. Second thing, when I try to store the output of this guy into result, okay, and I printed result, it's showing what error. Sorry, not error, it is showing none. Okay, you may think it is also printing 11. This 11 is because of this thing, because you triggered the function and in the function print is there. Okay, in function print is given, that's why it is printing 11, but result is printed as none. It means the output of this function I can't store in any variable. What happened? The output of the function, let me write in a point over here, the output of a print function, that means a function in which print is present, can't be stored in a variable, right? That is one thing. Second thing, we can't operate on top of a function with print feature. Okay, with print statement or using print. Okay. So print is what? Print inbuilt function, which is basically an inbuilt function that is already there in the function, that is already there in Python. Print is what? It's an inbuilt function. Okay, so if there is a function which is using a inbuilt function print, okay, we can't directly operate on top of that function, and even we can't store in any variable. Okay, now let's try to create a function def. Okay, like some values. Okay, some different name I'll give, x comma y. Okay, and then I'll do what? I'll write return x plus y. All right. Okay. Now let's see. I'll pass the value 7 cross 4, giving me the same result. But if I will multiply this thing with 2, it will tell me what? 22. Second, if I want to store this output in some variable, like this is what? 11. I want to store it in what? Result. I stored in result, and thereafter I am printing result. You can see I'm getting the, if I want to operate using result, like result divided by 2, that also it will work. Okay. It is working. Right. So this is a purpose of return function. Okay, if you are using simple for print, right? So what print is doing? Just try to understand the difference now. Print is dedicated to do a job and give and print output. That's it. It is dedicated to do a job and print the output. Right? Just printing the output. That's it. It is not creating any space in the background. Okay, the value is not getting stored anywhere. Okay, the value is not getting stored anywhere in the backend. Okay, there is no variable defined. It is not consuming any space to store this value. The value is not getting stored anywhere. But when you use return function, okay, this thing do what? This thing will do the calculation at the same time. Okay, it will store the value in the background, right? Sorry. Okay, so that you can operate on top of that value, right? So return is doing it is returned. Like for example, I asked you to do a job, right? And you just went somewhere. Okay, you just gone somewhere and then you did a job and then come back. That is one thing. Second, I asked you to do a job and then asked you to, after finishing, it will return with the output that is calculated, so that on the top of that output you can operate, you can store that output in a variable. So these things you can easily do, right? Okay. Let's take one more example. Let's say I'm creating a function over def greet. Okay, in this thing, two things required: greeting, comma, name. Okay. So instead of print, I'll do what? I'll return what? F return let's say, okay, let me use print first. Okay, then we'll use return, right? Print greeting comma name, right? Okay, now let's try to trigger it. Okay, so it is printing hello John. Okay, let me execute it once again. Hello Joy. Okay, now let's store this thing into greet1 and store this thing into greet2. Print greet1 print greet2. None. It is showing what? None. These two print are basically because print used over here. Now let's use return over here, right? Okay, you can give a space, you can ignore a space, both are correct. Now let's see. All right. Okay, if I don't use a space, then what happens? Then also it will be. Can anyone tell me what it is? If there is a data like this, what it is called? What it is called? We had discussed.
This is tuple.
Tuple, right? This is a tuple, right? So by default, it is doing what? It is returning a tuple. Okay, if I want a string, then what I have to do? I have to put this thing within the quotes. But when I put in the quotes, what will happen? It is going like this, right? So what we can do? we can use over here, if I want to use variable, I will put it into curly braces. Okay, and use F, that is formatted text. Okay. If I want to give a space, I can give a space over here. Isn't it? So the outcome now we can store in a variable, and if we can store in a variable, we can do what? We can do any operation on it. Isn't it? We can split, we can join, whatever we want to do, we can do that, right?
Sir, without return statement, we cannot store that thing into a variable.
Into a variable, right? The output of this function we can't store in a variable if we are not using return. Correct. That will just print output. Okay, the output will be printed and it's done. It is not stored anywhere, right? So to store the outcome of a variable, sorry, to store the outcome of a function, it should be a return function. Okay, or to operate on the outcome of a function, like here we can operate on the outcome of this function directly because this was a return function. Okay, earlier we can't do this. Okay, like when I'm trying to do this for the do sum, okay, it was not working. Okay, when they want to do it for the do sum, what happened? 11 is printed because it is created to print 11 by summing up these two values, but this is not working. Okay, operator will not work, right, if it is not a return type function. Okay, so to operate on top of any function, directly on top of any function, we need a return type function. Second, to store the outcome of it in a variable so that that variable can be used later. Okay, we need a return type function. Okay. Next, default arguments. Okay, what is default argument? Okay, let's say I define our def. Okay, employee details. Okay, here it's like name, age, email. In place of curly braces, we can use bracket. Here you are saying no, this will not work here. Since we have to do what? We have to use this thing, right? This thing as a variable. That means whatever value that is feed over here, that should be used over. That's why it's a curly braces. This is formatted text formatting. Text formatting, I guess I told you earlier, right, Soumya?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's say this is what I am doing now.
Sir,
I say what?
hello?
Yeah.
सर अगर मुझे वो फंक्शन के अंदर के ये को भी प्रिंट करना है तो फिर क्या करेंगे?
फंक्शन के अंदर कोई प्रिंट करना समझ नहीं
तब मुझे इसके अंदर भी प्रिंट डालना है क्योंकि यहाँ क्या है कि ये सिर्फ जो बाद को रिटर्न मतलब उसमें रिटर्न किया फिर ये बाद वाला ये दे रहा है।
समझ गया मैं।
हाँ
आप ऐसे कह रहे हो, राइट? ठीक है, दिस इज व्हाट यू आर सेइंग, राइट?
यस सर।
Yeah, this will also work. Okay, अभी इसको मैं अलग से लिख देता हूँ. That is also fine, right? तो incorrect नहीं है, right? Print करने like it will do what? It will print, sorry, it will print and then it will do what? Return as well. Okay, both the things it will do.
रिटर्न नहीं, अगर मुझे यहाँ से प्रिंट डालना है
हाँ तो सिर्फ प्रिंट डाल दो ना. प्रिंट तो आप पहले भी यूज कर रहे हैं ना. See, if you are using print over here like this, right? This is what you are saying, isn't it? Okay, so if you are just printing, then it will just print. Okay, it will just print it. Okay, it is printing, obviously it is printing. Okay, but now you can't store these things into a variable. Okay, like here the outcome of this function we had stored in what, greet1 and greet2. Okay, and then we are accessing these variables. Okay, so this is what you can't do over here. It is doing it. It is printing whatever you have passed according to the logic. It is printing it, right? Right? Like, okay, इस तरीके से समझो. Let's say for example, it is printing hello John, right? Okay. Now if you have to, like, suppose you are not using return. Okay, you are not using return, you are using print. Okay. Now if I want to ask you, tell me how many characters are present over here. How can you do it? Like, for example, to find out the characters, which function we use? Can anyone tell me? Len function, right? So here I can find out the characters, that is 11 characters. So will it work over here? Let's see. If I pass, this is what this is printing, hello John. Now I'm doing what? I'm passing this thing through a len function. It's not working, right? Because this function is created just to print. So it is printing it. Okay, it is not operational. We can't do any operation on it.
अगर हम ऑपरेशन भी करना चाहते हैं उसके लिए कुछ ऐसा है कि मतलब प्रिंट भी करना है और ऑपरेशन भी करना है.
तो फिर आप यहाँ पे वो कर लो, like use return.
अच्छा, रिटर्न देना होगा वहाँ.
Right. So you can do it like this. It will print. Okay, as well as you can do the operation over here. Right. So what it is doing, when you had executed for the first time, okay, it printed this thing. Executed for the second time, it printed this thing. Okay, but second execution is also showing you the return value. Why first execution is not showing you the return value? Because that's
print value.
Because after this thing came, so this overlapped, right? It's like this. If you want, see, इसको इधर किया and then I'll put it over here. Okay, so see, this is a result of print, this is a result of return, this is a result of print, this is a result of return. All right, when you counting the length, so first this is a result of print and this is a result of length. All right.
Yes.
Okay, now let's see default argument, right? So default argument, a small example, name colon name. Okay, age colon age, email colon email, right? Okay, now let's say return details. Okay, now let's say emp1 I store into this thing. Okay, I pass over here something. Let's say John, age I pass 21, email suppose I pass john@abc.com, right? And thereafter emp2. Okay, let's say here I pass Jerry 22, Jerry @ something like this. Okay, so there are two employees. I want to print emp1 employee 1 and then print emp2. So here I can store the employee information in two variables. Why? Because it's a return type function. Okay, it will return the output and that can be stored in a variable, isn't it? Now let's see for employee 2, this thing is not given, that is email is not given, then what will happen? It is raising an error, missing one required positional argument for this guy, because it is expecting at least 3 arguments, but we are passing what, only 2 arguments. So in this case we can define what? A default value, right? Like suppose I define a default value as unknown. So if I define a default value as unknown, right, in that case what happen? If you pass a value, it will use it. Like I had passed john@abc.com, it is using it. In case he had not passed, it will use what? Unknown. This is your default argument. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But there is a very, tricky thing over here, okay, in which sometimes people get stuck in the interview, right? There is a question that suppose I have to define a default argument. So where should I define? Shall I define it at the beginning, in the middle, at the end, or anywhere? So generally people think, because generally people think that we can define it anywhere, right? But that is not the way. Okay, like suppose I want to do what? I want to make age as a default argument. Just suppose I want to make age as a default argument, right? So I'll make age as a default argument 0. Right, now let's see. It will not work. Okay, reason, default argument, if you are defining, that should always be the last argument. Last argument, second, or like if like this, it should always be the last argument, right? So now if you see over here, I am passing like this, name. Okay, now here it can be email. Second is email, third is suppose 21 age. Okay, for this guy, let's say I'm passing email. Okay, not passing the age. Okay, then it will fine. Okay, for the next guy is what? You can say 0. Right, so default argument can only be the last argument. Even last 2 argument can also be default argument. Like say this can also be a default argument, right? Unknown. This is fine. Okay, this too, but in the middle we can't define a default argument, right? Like for example, let's say I'm defining employee 3. For employee 3, I'm not passing, like kind of, let's say Tom I passed over here. Okay, but I'm not passing anything over here. Right, now let's see. I have not executed it. Okay, employee 1, all the 3 values are there. Employee 2, age is 0, employee 3. Okay. So please do take care of this particular thing. Okay, default argument, the positioning of default argument is very important. Okay, where are you defining? It can be the last, it can be the last 2, it can be the last 3, but it can't be in the middle, it can't be in the beginning. That is it. Please practice the things that is covered today. Okay, and do work on some more examples from different sources. Okay, try to solve some lead code examples. Okay, just go to this lead code, right? Create your account. Okay, and sign in, create your account. Don't go for the premium. Okay, because at free of cost also you'll get a lot of things, right? Go for the Python part and try to take some problems and try to solve it. Okay, and let me know if you're stuck somewhere.
Sir, lead code or hackathon, which will be better for now?
Both are good. Anyone you can use, right? If you like, it's a both gives a good challenging questions and things are there. So anyone at the beginning, you can just start with anyone. Don't go for both of them. Okay, both are good. You can just choose any one of them at first. Okay, work on it. Okay, and once you think, okay, I did maximum problem I solved, like suppose you started with HackerRank. Okay, and with the HackerRank you solved maximum problem. Okay, so then you can go for the lead code, right? So don't do both of them at the same time, otherwise it will be difficult. So that is it for today.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone. Take care. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.